Hello Flat Earth believers, this is Darrell DEBJ Jr. back with my second Flat Earth response. My first Flat Earth response addressed how buoyancy works. The link to the first response is here and in the video description as well. This response addresses a video a viewer posted, apparently to challenge or debunk both my Flat Earth challenges 4 and 5. Thank you for replying for Marcos 9. My Flat Earth Challenge 5 video is about solar eclipse frequency, and my Flat Earth Challenge 4 video is about the diameter of the moon's shadow during solar eclipses. Tremarcos 9 posted this video link to each challenge. The title of his video is Total Solar Eclipse Does Not Work on Globe. I gave it a look. He says there are impossibilities that emerge with the data from timeanddate.com about the sun and the moon, but I'll point out, as he himself says, he simply doesn't understand. You say that the pattern of all solar eclipses over the past 50 years, quote, create a crooked pattern, creating a global zigzag mess that makes no sense. Okay, first let me point this out to you and to all Flat Earth believers. This seems to be a severe misunderstanding many, if not all of you share. Here it is. Ready? Reality is not limited to what you can understand or make sense of. Just because you do not understand something doesn't mean it's fake, wrong, nor impossible. Your lack of understanding could just mean it's more than you understand. Simple, right? In this case, it's apparently simply more than you can understand. But I'll take the time to point out how they work, where you erroneously and ignorantly say they don't. On the next page, you, Tremarcos 9, say that total solar eclipses can't move across the Arctic or Antarctica on the globe and are impossible. Yet, in the images you post in your own video on that same page, it shows how it's possible. You point out that the moon orbits at a 5-degree, quote, tilt, and that eclipses only occur when the moon crosses the plane of the sun and the earth. Basically, good so far. Well, that means that at any given moment, the moon is about 5 degrees or less out of the direct line with the sun and the earth. The least variance, of course, when it's directly on the same plane. A misunderstanding you seem to have when we look at a later image in your video is that you seem to erroneously think that the moon is always 5 degrees askew from the ecliptic plane. No. The moon revolves at a 5-degree angle and is constantly moving from 5 degrees above the ecliptic, gradually down through the ecliptic, and then to 5 degrees below the ecliptic, and gradually back again over and over throughout its revolutions. But one more thing before we go to what really occurs. I notice in your illustration on this page, you have illustrated the moon being at a 5.14 degree inclination, yet the moon is still within the Earth's area. The moon is still within the uppermost and lowermost boundaries of the Earth in your illustration. This is totally wrong. I don't know if your understanding is just really that bad or if you are being dishonest. Please let me know where you got the idea that at the moon's maximum inclination, it will still be within the plane the Earth's area makes. As this illustration and animation shows, when the Earth is at its greatest inclination, it is well outside of a plane made by the uppermost and lowermost boundaries of the Earth. This goes to your apparent misunderstanding where you seem to think the moon has to be directly in line with the precise ecliptic plane in the center of the Earth for there to be an eclipse. You don't seem to realize that its maximum inclination, the moon is well above or below the plane of the Earth, and also that it doesn't need to be at the precise center of the Earth to cast its shadow on the Earth. We'll get to these points in a moment. Go to this webpage. The page is animated and it shows how the moon is constantly revolving around the Earth at a rotating 5-degree inclination, and how only periodically does the moon pass in line with the sun and the Earth. When the moon is passing at a low degree of inclination or directly through the ecliptic plane and either between or behind the Earth and the sun, then an eclipse occurs. You admit in your previous video image that the Earth is tilted on its axis, at least according to the quote globe model. Well, when the Earth is at a place in its revolution, when for instance, due to the planetary tilt, the Arctic is tilted towards the sun, and when the moon passes between the sun and the Earth during that time, and at a point in its revolution where the moon's shadow just passes the northern edge of the Earth, then the solar eclipse will be across the Arctic. Simple. There's an eclipse towards the tip or edge of the Earth. So yes, clearly these things don't make sense to you. And apparently, it's too difficult for you to do simple online searches to find the answer and even animated illustrations of how this works. On the next few images you say, quote, science says the moon must cross Earth's ecliptic plane in order for a solar eclipse to occur, which is the middle of a tilted Earth. End quote. The ecliptic plane is always the center of the Earth's axial tilt of 23.4 degrees. The moon's 5-degree tilt is void during an eclipse. And then you ask, how can a total solar eclipse occur with the path of totality moving across the Arctic Circle or Antarctica if the moon has to be on the ecliptic plane of the Earth for the eclipse to occur? As I've shared a moment ago, and as you can see in the animation on the page I linked, when the Earth's tilt in its rotation has that part of the planet towards the Sun, and the moon's revolution places it towards that part of the planet in its rotation and passage between the Sun and the Earth, then there's a total solar eclipse there. You're simply not understanding, as apparently the scale and the movement of this system is not comprehensible to you. Look at the link I shared. The moon isn't always 5-degree inclined from the ecliptic. Thus, the quote 5-degree tilt, as you say, doesn't just quote void during an eclipse. And the moon doesn't have to be directly on the precise ecliptic plane, directly in the center of the Earth, between the Earth and the Sun, for an eclipse to occur. The moon is revolving at a 5-degree inclination, and as long as the moon is between the Sun and the Earth, such that its shadow can fall on the Earth, a solar eclipse can occur. Thus, eclipses can happen anywhere on Earth on the side of the planet facing the Sun. Again, just because you don't understand something or misunderstand something doesn't make it impossible. You make erroneous premises or have poor or non-existent understanding and poor conclusions, and then you make conclusions on that. It's no wonder it doesn't make sense to you. Now, I've told you that you were wrong about how solar eclipses work, and I said the quote round Earth model is accurate to reality and works. But I also explained and showed an illustration of how it works. Now, assuming you still maintain that flat Earth is right and there's something wrong with what I said, I challenge you to do the same and show us exactly how eclipses work on the flat Earth. Don't just say, oh, that's wrong, round Earth is wrong. If you still maintain that the Earth is flat and that this is wrong, then tell us what the right thing is. If the sun and the moon don't work as I said, and as astronomers and physicists and rocket scientists and so forth have been saying and applying to space exploration and so forth, if it's all a lie, then tell us how the sun and moon actually work and explain how you discovered it. We know that eclipses happen, we see them, we videotape them. If you're saying the Earth is flat, how do they work and occur on the flat Earth? And present some astronomical predictions that rival and surpass those made by the stated, quote, incorrect globe model. You claim the globe model is wrong, but the solar eclipse of August 2017 occurred just as predicted by, quote, globe heads, exactly where it was predicted, and for the duration and size predicted, etc. If you know better, then you predict the next 10 years worth of solar eclipses more accurately than at timeanddate.com, and you show us how you did it using your, quote, superior knowledge of flat Earth. So, Tremarctos 9, I look forward to your explanations and your illustrations and your animations showing exactly how solar eclipses work on the flat Earth. And I look forward to the astronomical predictions you make with your, quote, superior and, quote, correct flat Earth knowledge. I look forward to seeing the eclipse happen when you predict, where you predict, and so forth, as you show it occurring on the flat Earth with your illustrations and your animations. And anyone else, I look forward to your challenges too.